You think your cat is just begging for food when it watches you eat. But what if that's completely wrong? What if your cat is actually trying to figure out something about you, not the food? Because the way your cat watches you eat isn't casual. It's focused, quiet, almost investigative. And once you understand what's really going on behind that stare, you won't see it the same way again. Most people assume it's hunger, that your cat is just waiting for a bite. But here's the strange part. Even after eating, even after walking away from its own full bowl, your cat still comes back, sits down, and watches you eat. So if it's not hungry, then why is it still there? The answer starts with something most people completely miss. In the animal world, eating is not just a routine, it's a vulnerable moment. When an animal eats, its guard drops, its focus shifts, its awareness decreases, and that's exactly when it's most at risk. Now think about this carefully. When your cat watches you eat, it's watching you in a vulnerable state, and instinctively, that triggers something deep, a response you can't see. Your cat isn't just observing, it's assessing. Are you safe right now? Is everything normal? Do I need to stay alert? It sounds strange, but this behavior is rooted in survival instinct, because in your cat's mind, you're not just a human sitting at a table, you're part of its environment, part of its territory, and in many ways, part of its social group. So when you eat, your cat pays attention, not just out of curiosity, but out of awareness. But there's another layer that makes this even more interesting. Control. Cats are creatures that rely on understanding their surroundings. They feel safe when they can predict what's happening, and food is one of the most important patterns in their daily life. So when you eat something different, at a different time, in a different way, your cat notices every small detail, the smell, the sound, the movement, and it watches closely, because it's trying to understand the pattern. Is this important? Does this involve me? Should I react? That's why the stare feels so intense, because it's not casual attention, it's focused observation. But here's where things get even deeper. Sometimes, your cat is expecting something. Not just food, but a moment. Maybe at some point you shared food. Maybe you looked at your cat and talked to it. Maybe you gave it attention while eating, and your cat remembered that. Cats are extremely good at remembering patterns, especially when those patterns involve reward. So now, every time you eat, your cat watches, waiting. Not always for food, but for that interaction to happen again. Even if it doesn't come every time, that small possibility keeps your cat focused, keeps it coming back. But there's also something emotional happening here. When your cat chooses to sit near you while you eat, it's making a decision, a quiet one, but an important one. Because cats don't stay close without a reason. They choose spaces carefully. They choose moments carefully. And eating in the animal world is not just routine, it's significant. So when your cat sits near you during that moment, it's choosing to be there. Choosing to stay close while you're in a vulnerable state. And that says something about trust. Even if your cat doesn't touch you, even if it doesn't make a sound, its presence means something. It means your cat feels safe around you, safe enough to sit quietly, safe enough to observe without tension, safe enough to exist beside you without needing to move. But there's also curiosity, because from your cat's perspective, humans are confusing. You don't eat like they do. You don't approach food the same way. You use hands, you use tools. You sit at a table, you follow routines that don't exist in their world. So when your cat watches you eat, part of it is simple curiosity, trying to understand your behavior, trying to make sense of something unfamiliar. And cats learn by watching, by observing patterns again and again. So your cat studies you, quietly, carefully, without interrupting. And over time, it builds its own understanding of what you do. But here's the part that makes this behavior feel so intense: eye contact. Cats don't stare casually. When a cat locks its eyes onto something, it means full attention, full focus. So when that focus is on you, it means in that moment, you're the most important thing in its environment. Not the sounds, not the room, not even its own comfort. You. And that's why the stare feels so strong, so direct, almost like your cat is trying to read you. But sometimes, that stare changes. It becomes sharper, more fixed, more expectant. And in those moments, Yes, hunger can play a role, or habit, especially if your cat has been rewarded before. But even then, it's not just about food, it's about association. Your actions have been linked to a possible reward, and your cat remembers that connection very clearly, so it watches, waits, hopes. But even beyond all of this, there's something simple happening too. Your cat just wants to be near you, not in an obvious way, not in a loud or demanding way, but quietly, in the background, part of your moment. And that's something many people miss, because we expect affection to look a certain way. We expect closeness to be physical. But for cats, closeness is often silent, subtle, a presence rather than an action. So when your cat sits nearby and watches you eat, it's not always asking for something. Sometimes it's just choosing you, choosing your presence over everything else in the room. And that choice matters more than it seems. So the next time your cat watches you eat, don't just assume it wants your food. Pause for a moment, look at it, notice how still it is, how focused it feels, how calm, or how curious. Because your cat isn't just staring for no reason. It's observing, learning, understanding, and in its own quiet way, it's connecting with you, without making a sound, without asking for anything, just being there. And maybe that moment isn't as simple as it looks. Maybe it's not about your food at all. Maybe it's about awareness, about trust, about curiosity, and maybe, more than anything else, it's about you.